Welcome to the Bestie Perspective, a raw, unfiltered space where we explore the mind, body, spirit connection. Every week, we dive into personal growth, holistic healing, and life's ups and downs to inspire, support, and remind you you're never alone on this journey. Welcome back, besties. It's October, which means it's time to honor boobs in all of their glory.
Woo woo!
So today we're covering the best of boobs, the history, myths, bras, and the unforgettable ways they've influenced culture. Plus, we're sharing holistic breast health tips so you and your girls can feel empowered, cared for, and totally in tune with your own bodies. So just to jump right in, I looked up the history of boobs because I was like, I don't know. I don't want to just list off advice for caring for your health. Like, let's talk about the fun parts of boobs and all of their glory, really. And I was amazed at I'm pretty sure the oldest known figurine is the Venus of Willendorf. And it's about 25,000 years old.
Wow.
And it has she's very well endowed. She's very curvy and thick. And it definitely does not fit society's current norms that say like, oh, she's pretty. Like this Venus of Willendorf is a huge symbol of fertility, abundance, and survival. And so like looking at this picture, I just think, wow, this is so beautiful and so different. It really changes your perception of what beauty might have looked like 25,000 years ago compared to now.
Yeah.
We think about celebrities that are getting plastic surgery, Brazilian butt lifts, the hourglass figure. This is
Ozempic.
Yes, we just recently talked about that. This is not depicting any of the sort.
Right.
No.
If anything, this image is like it doesn't look very youthful to me when I think about it either. It's aged. It looks like this woman's had children, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She looks like wise and she's had her fertile days, you know?
But also like a hug from her would be really cozy.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know?
100%.
Yes.
Like her cuddles look like they're unmatched.
I know. They do.
It's so funny. We're describing this stone figure as cozy and cuddly.
Oh my goodness. And then throughout the years, under the prehistoric beginnings umbrella, that's where that one falls. But then if you look at Egyptian mythology, the goddess Isis, I'm not sure if I'm saying any of these names right, just fair warning if there's any like historians here. I'm sorry if I'm going to make you cringe. So the goddess Isis was often shown breastfeeding pharaohs, symbolizing divine right to rule. And in these symbols, the goddess is like huge. Like think Avatar compared to the size of the pharaoh.
Oh.
The pharaoh almost looks like a baby. I think the pharaohs in Egyptian were known to be like as young as 12, though. I could be wrong about that.
Wow.
But I just thought that was really interesting, too. Again, with the fertility abundance. But I think in Egyptian mythology, it was referred to, as sacred milk. And, it was more spiritual in that sense. And when it came to the boobs in the Greek and Roman times, breasts were represented both by beauty, thinking, any Aphrodite statues, she's usually depicted topless, either in statues or paintings. And as far as Artemis of Ephesus? Artemis of Ephesus.
Right.
So Artemis of Ephesus was depicted with many breasts. And I mean, how many are we talking here? Like at least 10 or 12.
Right. 12 plus, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm getting at least 14 or 15 in my count.
And for our listeners, I have pictures up for the girls to look at while we're talking about this. I was shocked. And apparently scholars argue over if they were breast or bull testicles, which I could see, but they look more like breast to me.
Quick side note, it's pronounced Ephesus. We were all wrong.
Oh. And then moving on to like medieval and Renaissance, the weird thing I found out in this reading was that during medieval times, the breast size was widely judged by people in society as your character. So if you had smaller boobs or if you were really good at hiding your boobs, you were more virtuous and fit with the Bible and the teachings of the Bible. And if you had bigger boobs, you were more lustful and people would look down on you for having poor character, for showing off your boobs and trying to be lustful.
So messed up.
I know.
So many ways.
But look at, I mean, this is the like medieval dress at the time. It was the fashion was very like drapey, not showing off the curves, covering the hair a lot as well. So I kind of think like Handmaid in a House. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
And the Marthas and the handmaids all wore head coverings.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And then moving to Renaissance after that, they brought the boobs were back.
Cleavage was in. Cleavage was back all again. The rage.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that's the first time that corsets became the fashion staple for flattening, lifting, or reshaping the breasts in some way, depending on the style. But basically, they call this the push-up bra 1.0 because it was the first time that they used that. Come the 18th century, think Queen Marie Antoinette. I have a terrible French accent, but during that time, cleavage was even more pronounced. And I almost think about Bridgerton too, like really tight corsets during courting season, getting all dressed up. The boobs are pushed up. Everybody's made up. And allegedly, Marie Antoinette set trends by wearing gowns that showed off her bust so much. And like I was saying from Bridgerton, the court fashion often meant that boobs were the star of the show. And on a side note, I don't think it was fair for them to do that. And yet they were supposed to remain innocent and know nothing about sex and,
I know,
keep themselves pure.
Right.
Yeah, like we're going to put your titties on display to sell you off. And then.
Yeah. And apparently they literally contoured their boobs, powdered them, make them look perfect.
Wow.
They didn't have TikTok back in the day. This was like the OG body contouring.
Yeah. But even the level of cleavage flaunting, it was like down to the nipple or the areola marking, right? Is what I remember seeing in any of the old movies or old pictures. Mm-hmm. They were out there.
Yes, ma'am. To the point where you're like, girl, can you breathe?
Your nipple's going to pop out, too.
Right. One wrong dance move and you're over. Your courting season reputation is done.
Right.
In the 19th century, the Victorian era flipped things again. There's so much up and down with the boobs or no boobs, but then the breasts got tucked away under high collars, but you still were wearing rigid corsets, so it was kind of like the worst of both worlds. You're sucked in and hot and
I would never survive. I run so hot and looking at these dresses, I'm like, oh.
How many layers are those skirts? Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. I do not even know. That it looks crazy. Looking at the 20th century to now, in the 20s during the flapper era, flat chests became fashionable, and women would literally wrap around, like, what do you call, like ace bandages after you get a surgery? Yeah, like really tight bands to try to make them look flat and to almost achieve like a boyish silhouette. Again, with the loose dresses, there's no like waist contouring there. Think about the classic flapper dress with the fun fringes and things.
Yeah.
And then at like the 50s, the curves were back in again. And think Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell. Everyone brought the curves and cleavage back. The bras promised to lift and separate. I always thought the bras during that time were like bullets or torpedoes.
Yeah, very coney, very pointy. Yeah, they were funny looking.
I always think about that one iconic Madonna outfit.
Yeah.
And I think even Katy Perry did something similar with one of her tours.
Yeah, not a fan of that look.
It doesn't look comfy for sure. Definitely for fashion.
No torpedo titties for you guys.
Imagine if these guys were also pure and innocent and like just didn't know what real boobs looked like, and that's what they think they're getting. And then the bra comes off in the bedroom. They're like, what the hell is this? I didn't sign up for this. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh.
This is more my vibe. The 60s and 70s feminist movement encouraged going braless, quote unquote, burning bras, just like throwing them in the trash can. Corsets, bras, high heels were going in trash cans. I'm all about no bra. I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, and like even older generations can find it disrespectful, but I feel so comfortable without a bra on.
Really?
Same.
See, I've always preferred a bra, but I was always outnumbered. I was always the oddball. My friends and schoolmates, anyone would always say like, "Oh, I hate wearing a bra," and I would fall asleep in them. I like have no problem wearing a bra all day long, but I for sure am outnumbered.
I like to be flowing free.
For some reason, I just had a vision of like a dog with his head out the window and his lips like flapping in the wind.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Flowing and free, everybody. That's what Lauren really meant. When she said
Yeah. And literally, I was just thinking that, like, roll the window down in the car and they'd be like,
But I will say, after breastfeeding, I feel like I need even more support. Like when I go braless, I'm like, ugh, these saggy things flopping around. It just feels so different.
I know. Now when I sit next to Eileen, I'm like, Eileen, get your titty off my arm. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm totally being dramatic, right? I'm sounding like that would be the true scenario.
Like nobody on an airplane would want to sit next to you.
Oh my
kidding.
goodness. Yeah, I'm being
Too.
dramatic, I'm sure.
So then, speaking of the opposite of that, in the 80s and 90s is when we began to see the rise in amount of breast augmentations taking place. And not only in the overall population, but definitely influenced by fame and celebrities. So Baywatch, people in bikinis. I think about like Pamela Anderson because of that. And like the mother of all boob jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's when that's the same era that the Wonder Bra came out. And I think Victoria's Secret too also shaped the cultural obsession with like size and shape and pushing them up. So, okay, well, if you can't afford a breast augmentation, we will give you the bra the Wonder Bra.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I was going to say, when did Victoria's Secret come on the scene? But this makes a lot of sense.
Let's look it up just to be sure.
But also, I'm even thinking about when I remember going to Victoria's Secret in high school and coming across bras that were like guaranteed to give you 2+ cup sizes. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh my
Yep.
gosh.
So Victoria's Secret, it looks like it really started to take off like in the 80s. They were founded in 1977.
Okay.
But yeah,
So this does make sense then for that.
absolutely.
Now I have the Victoria's Secret song stuck in my head. Have y'all heard that newer one made by, oh, I forget her name. I love her, but it's like, I know Victoria's Secret.
Oh yeah. Girl,
She
you
was-
wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was
Oh my god.
made up by a dude. Dude.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that song is so catchy.
I do remember that now. It was a like college-aged girl, and she made that song for the little girl she was babysitting.
Babysitting.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, and that warmed my heart because I was nannying at that time, and I was like, yes, this is perfect.
Yes, it's such a good song.
She actually just did. She's on TikTok. I see her occasionally, and she did one on motherhood because she's a new mom now.
Aw.
And just the lyrics were like, "Yes, girl, that's exactly right. You're just different now." So she gets it. I like her. But anywho, I digress.
I love it. Today, in the 2000s now, I feel like over the last 20, 25 years in general, have been a lot more about inclusivity to all shapes and sizes and natural looks or the done up looks. Everything seems to be celebrated and like allowing people to express their own individuality, you know? And people who have had to have mastectomies. Wait, what?
Embrace. That's what I think you said. No, I don't know why. It's just, I made up a word, but embrace your boobism.
Your boobism.
Embrace your boobism.
There we go.
Embrace your boobism. Where you stand with the boobs. Are you a free flapper or a pushed up Penelope?
Are you a boobist?
Boobist. Practicing boobist.
Boobism. Like you said.
But yeah, so I feel like everything is celebrated, and I think about the number of women who have mastectomies, and now they make prosthetics for bras, and they make special bras to hold the prosthesis and everything. And it's really
Wow.
cool, actually. My mother-in-law works for a company that specializes in this, and they will do a scan of your chest so that the form fits your new chest wall exactly, because things tend to get a little like curvy or indented, or you have scarring and all of that. And so they make the breast form sit exactly as it's supposed to, as comfortably as possible on the person
cool.
that's had the
That's so nice.
mastectomy. She said it's the best job she's ever had. She feels like she really
Aw.
makes a difference in people's lives.
Aw.
Incredible.
Yeah. But
I
I
love
think
that.
about that when I think about now under the inclusivity umbrella.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do think culturally it will differ. You know, I think body positivity does differ and vary depending on the culture. Like if you take Brazil, for example, they will flaunt, like, do you see my new boob job? Look at my butt. Look at my new this, that. They are so loud and proud about their plastic surgery. Whereas in other countries, that's very taboo. You don't talk about it. They're like, what boob job? You don't see anything. You don't talk about it. Shh.
It's true. I remember when I met with my surgeon, I told him, I do not want it to look like I've had a boob job.
Mm.
I was
Mhm.
so scared of people like knowing or being like, that looks tacky, or what. I was worried
Gotcha.
about what other people thought, but I also just wanted to feel comfortable in my own skin. I've heard of people going too big and then like totally regretting it.
Mm.
And so I was like, you know what? I haven't had any kids yet. Let's just start conservative. And I was really happy. Finding a surgeon who listens to you, especially when it comes to cosmetic stuff, it really just depends on the culture, on who's comfortable and open and talking about it. And, you know, because with my friends that knew, I was like, look, I got my boobs done.
Oh, yeah.
Like out in the open. I wasn't like, check me out.
Yes.
But boobs couldn't have their cultural glow up without their BFF, the bra, or your worst enemy, according to Lauren.
My bestie, her enemy.
Yes. So looking back again at the Greek and Romans, they would use cloth bands, which kind of reminded me of the flapper era in the 20s, pulling some of that same energy from that. But I don't think it was to give them a flattening effect. I just literally think they needed it to function like a sports bra. Even in the medieval times, Austria recently found in 2008, archaeologists in Austria found linen bras from medieval times in the 15th century that looked shockingly modern.
Oh, wow.
They had cups, straps, even lace. So,
Wow.
I mean, bras are really old looking that far back. Medieval times, Greek, Romans, all of that.
Wow.
That was ancient, but then the modern bra was born in 1914 by Mary Phelps Jacob. She used handkerchiefs and ribbon to create, our now modern bra. The part that shocked me, though, was to find out that she sold the patent to Warner Brothers Corset Company. Warner Brothers had a corset company also.
What?
I think about movies when I think about that.
Yeah.
She sold the patent to Warner Brothers Corset Company for $1,500 in 1914.
Oh my God.
And the company later made $15 million off of it.
Oh my God.
Oh
she
my
needed to add
gosh.
some more zeros.
I
Wow.
know. I was just shocked when I saw that. I was like,
Gosh,
girl,
that's so
no.
crazy.
So that was invented 1914. Then, the 20s came. The flappers didn't want no boobs. They were like, flatten them things out, make me look more boyish. In the 30s, that was when cup sizes were invented.
Interesting.
Right? The 40s, that was bullet bras, like Rosie the Riveter times. And 50s were kind of the same. Pinup era, lift and separate. I don't think they were like as pointy, but still, I think of pointy because when I think of Marilyn Monroe,
Yeah.
I kind of think of that same.
I feel like they
They're
still were a little
still-
pointy.
Yeah.
The 70s, they embraced the braless freedom. In 1977, guess what the first sports bra was made out of? You really will have no idea. In 1977, the first sports bra was made out of 2 jock straps sewn together.
Yes. Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
That's
Oh
so
my God.
funny.
So that blew my mind. And to think about how far sports bras have come from that, thank God we are not
Thank
still having 2 hard ass cups.
Right.
Oh my God. That reminds me of like
Jock
coconuts or something. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
But
That
wait,
would
aren't
hurt to jog in that.
I thought
Right.
jock straps were like soft and like cups are the hard ones.
Oh, maybe you're right.
That's right. The jock
Is it-
strap is like a
Yeah,
sack. Like
it's almost like a man thong.
Man thong. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm over here looking up jock straps now, guys. I definitely mixed up jock strap and cup, but now I know, and I'm glad I mixed it up so I could look it up. Okay, so that blew my mind. 2 jock straps sewn together for the first sports bra. Then into the decades of the 80s and 90s where Wonder Bra and Victoria's Secret is booming right after that. So I am sure they modified the sports bra quickly after that. Because then think about like the 80s workout videos. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like 2 jock straps, sewn together. It looks cute. Colorful, color blocking, all of that. And then today, high tech, we have our breastfeeding bras, our sports bras for the really bouncy boobies,
Mhm.
and all the different layers and choices for push up, the ones for prosthesis, all of that. So, okay, we have had our fair share of laughs and history, but let's get real for a second because behind all of the fun, breast health is serious business, and it's something that every woman, I believe, should feel confident about. I think the number one tip that I would have for all women in taking care of their boobs is to know what your normal is. Don't be afraid to look in the mirror, use a mirror, feel them out. Because if you know you're normal, then you're able to spot when there's a difference. You know where your normal lumps are, you know what your symmetry is like. And so over time, you'll get to know what's different and when you should be asking your doctor questions. Eileen, I don't know if something that just came into my mind is, motherhood. Your breasts do change throughout motherhood. What has that been like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, even just in size, I felt huge while pregnant. I remember
They were huge. I remember too. I was like, damn, girl. Woo!
And what's sad though is as perky and big as they were, I did not feel sexy at all. They hurt and were tender. So poor Eddie, he has all this voluptuousness everywhere, and I'm like, don't touch.
Back off, bucko.
You did this to me.
And there's so many things that breastfeeding entails. I mean, you have engorgement, which is hella painful. It's where, you've got the milk blocked up and you're having trouble releasing it. And it is just fiery hot and so painful. I had to literally lean over the sink and dunk my boobs in cold water. Nothing was working. And so the trick that did finally help was cabbage leaves.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's nothing to do with the leaf itself. It's just the perfect cupping. And refrigerated is nice. It is cooling, but it's not too much like an ice pack would be for a sensitive area like your breasts. But I was so big, I had to double up and I had to put half my titty with one cabbage leaf and the other half with another. So I had 4 cabbage leaves on for them suckers.
What I'm picturing right now is you rummaging in your refrigerator and then going over on your counter and you're shirtless and you're positioning these cabbage leaves and then Eddie walks in hey babe, and you turn around with your titties covered in cabbage leaves.
Nothing to see here.
I thought you were making dinner. Maybe that is your dinner.
It's just your cabbage wrap. It was a lifesaver, though. I'm sure any women listening that have gone through that and tried cabbage leaves, they were a game changer. And yeah, just overall, even just weight loss after breastfeeding and whatnot, the boobs just sit different. They're not as perky and high as they used to be. Thankfully, I still have some of the size kept. I'm still a size bigger than I was before, which I'm all right with. But I am much more inclined to wear a bra if I wasn't before.
I just got my friend. She had a baby shower last month that I wasn't able to go to. One of the things on her registry were silver nipple covers for breastfeeding moms.
For bacteria?
I guess. Okay, so I don't really know what they're for. I maybe should have. I literally just remembered that as we're on the breastfeeding topic, but
no worries. I believe silver in general is usually antibacterial.
That's what I was saying. I think it is for that. And then to, I guess, protect the nipple, if there's any rawness or tenderness going on from breastfeeding, that it would help with the healing properties of silver would help with that too. And I guess preventing infection. I'm not so sure.
Now I want to know.
The company I ordered them from were Silverette.
It is antimicrobial properties. Soothing and healing because it helps soothe the soreness and irritation and promotes faster healing without creams or ointments. So especially if a woman is, sensitive to a lot of creams and ointments. Reusable and eco-friendly because they're washable. Discreet protection. Stylish or functional fashion. No, probably not that one. Okay. All right. So multiple reasons. That's interesting.
I was just thinking of like one of the fashion things for like bras in the 2020s is this silverette healing nipple covers. You wear them underneath your nursing bra, but they're the shape of like your areola and nipple and everything. So of course you like maybe see it a little bit through the shirt. But then I was like, then again, that's kind of in style now because Kim Kardashian makes a bra where it looks like your nipples are out.
And don't they make, I feel like I've seen ones also where they make them with nipple piercings. So you can have it look like nipple
Yeah.
piercings through your shirt too.
Wow.
Free the nipple.
One thing a lot of women do also deal with is cracking nipples or just soreness when it comes to breastfeeding. And it hurts. It hurts in the beginning. But I will say, Lauren's mom gave me a wonderful tip to prepare in the 3rd trimester. And it was to take a terry cloth and rub your nipples back and forth and desensitize and toughen them up. And I never cracked. I never had issues. Yes, the pain of just getting used to it was there, but I could tell that it did the trick. It probably would have been a lot worse had I not done that. So thanks, Lynn. Love you.
She's literally everybody's mom. She's so
She
sweet.
is. She's the
So
best.
cute.
Great tip. I will have to remember that one.
Oh, last nipple tip for the mom on board today is a lot of women do have these creams and have issues with the ointments and stuff, or the baby doesn't like the taste even after washing. And so supposedly the best trick is to actually just use the breast milk. Leave the breast milk on
Oh.
there, rub it in the nipple area, and then don't mess with it. And that's what I did. I can vouch for it that it worked for me.
That's a great tip. So, with all of it, it just sounds like it's a very sensitive time. You are so prone to sensitivity through pregnancy and beyond, and that first year of motherhood. And I think
For
that's where it's important to recognize, okay, you're not going to know a normal there because being pregnant might be new to you, or like every time maybe it's a different experience for you, or it's different from your normal when you're not pregnant.
For sure. For sure. And I think that a lot of people glorify breastfeeding and make it look and seem so easy when it is not just an emotional roller coaster, but a physical one. And it's hard and you're tired. And sometimes there's women that try, but they dry up. And there's just so much goes into it that I would, number one, recommend women take a class before the baby comes on breastfeeding. There's plenty of options out there. Lactation consultants even. Get familiar because I don't think women talk about it enough. And then number two, to just be easy with themselves with whatever's coming up with the actual process, because some women struggle more than others.
And on that note, I think also another holistic way that you can take care of your boobs is to not only check yourself, but to get checked. So, as far as checking yourself goes, if you have regular periods, the best time is a few days after your period ends because that's when your hormone levels are lower, your breasts are less tender or swollen, and it's easier to feel any lumps there. Sometimes when our hormones are in full swing, like right before our period, then some people develop lumps almost, or like I don't know what exactly the change is that happens there, but everything gets more dense.
Yeah, for sure. I am particular. I don't know if you ladies are. We can all be vulnerable and share, but I was always lumpy. It sounds funny. I was very lumpy when I was on my period. But yeah, I would just have these nodules that would increase more, but they were very movable. So I would tell my doctor and checkups and whatnot, and they're like, okay, perfect. This is just a typical lumps that you can expect with your periods. So nothing irregular, but they would always shrink when I was off my period. So interesting.
That is interesting. I know I experienced some like breast tenderness around my period, but I usually don't notice anything palpable like with touch. Or maybe I'm also just not trained for what to feel for. Because I feel like at my gynecology exams, they give you a breast exam as well. And I remember them saying like, oh yeah, you just have some natural fibroids here. And I was like, oh wow. Because I never thought that I felt anything, right? But I guess, they must have felt something normal. But I just normally experience just some more tenderness around my period, usually.
I sometimes will get sore nipples right before my period. My timeline is about 5 days out, and then it'll go away. And then about 1 or 2 days before my period, I'll feel like more bloated or like full in my lower abdomen. And that's when I'm like, okay, my period's coming. The nipples and then the belly and okay. And then my period starts.
I love it. We have 3 women here with 3 different experiences around our menstruation. So there you go. So listeners, what you do want to look out for is actually hard nodules that don't seem to be very movable and that aren't changing with your periods. Those are telltale signs. That's when for sure you should go get checked.
Yeah.
And the other thing I remember hearing was it was actually one of my professors in nursing school. She had said she had a spot found on one of her breasts, and she had said it was her husband who found it. And she actually shared that most of the time it's husbands finding it on their wives, which is really interesting, I thought too. Like, obviously the self-checks are important, but like, hey, like, I don't know about you guys, but I also try to check Ira out, because testicular cancer is a thing too, so they do their own self-checks, we do our own self-checks, but if you have a partner, there's, another step or another precaution.
At least we have a leg up in that regard. We can look in the mirror and like raise our arms and everything and see if there's anything stuck and any marks. But with them, it's like way far down there.
They're going to be like squatting up on the counter.
Way less likely to do that. But yeah, I've heard about that too. That's actually a tip I gave people. This is a fun fact about me. I don't know if you guys knew this, but when I was in nursing school, I was in the Student Nurses Association as the community health person. And so I helped arrange a lot of different things in the community for our class to get volunteer hours, to get the special cords and all of that for graduation. One of the things that I decided to set up was a breast health, like know how to check yourself education table. And we gave free cookies to come and practice doing a breast health screening, how to go through and feel the lumps on these breast prosthesis that we had from the nursing lab, where you could feel like different types of lumps, different textures, sizes, densities. And I always made to tell them, even the guys, I was like, you can get free cookies. Like, this is not just for women, because if you're getting jiggy with it with your girl one day and you feel a lump, like, you will have a better idea because of this.
Yeah.
I loved that. When you're looking in a mirror, you can hold your arms by your side and look at that, but then also do it while you're raising your arms up and down to see if there's anything fixated or stuck in place, or noticing any type of like asymmetry that's not normal.
Or any depressions or skin like pulling in when you're lifting. And
yeah, it can be a rash or some type of discoloration, or I think I've even seen like tender skin or itchiness come up for some people. Getting checked by clinicians is also wonderful to prevent anything or finding something early on. Most experts recommend starting to get checked in your 20s and 30s. I don't know about you guys, but when I go to yearly physicals, my doctor will always do like a quick check.
Yeah.
So if you're going to that every year or so, you can get checked then. And then they also say at 40 to start mammograms, or earlier if you have a family history or higher risk. But really, I think whatever route you want to take to advocate for yourself, if you want to get mammograms earlier for some reason, I think you should be allowed, or if you don't even want a mammogram at all. And I know Eileen was the first one to teach me about breast thermography, and my mind was blown about that.
Yes. And I'm 36 and I have never had a mammogram yet, but I don't plan on having them. There's theories out there, and I don't know that there are studies or anything yet, but I would have to dig a little bit more, but that you're squeezing the breast tissue. If anyone has had a mammogram, it's very uncomfortable. You are squeezing them profusely. And then with x-ray, so you're putting radiation into that breast tissue, and it's already very soft and tender. So you're damaging the tissue in two different ways, by physical compression and radiation, to where there's theories that that actually could not be helping and could actually potentially be causing breast cancer. But as I say, it's a theory. I have not done my research on it. I've just heard from a couple of articles and whatnot. But that made sense to me to some degree, to where I was like, I want something that is safer. And in fact, the thermography you can spot earlier than on a mammogram. So I ended up doing a full body thermography. With that, you do have to get fully undressed and fully naked and in a dark room with a practitioner, someone trained in taking these images, because you're looking for heat, you're looking for temperature changes in the body. And in the picture, these red hot zones are locations of issues. So you would see red in an area of the body that has inflammation or other concerning things. So with this technology, they've been able to spot breast cancer much earlier for patients. So yeah, I did my first time years ago. And so that's the route that I'm going to use rather than mammograms moving forward.
And it's more comfortable as well. Like, it seems like
Yeah.
it's not this, I just, whenever my mom talks about getting mammograms, it sounds horrible and painful. And even when I was younger and I didn't know about thermography yet, I was like, oh my God, that sucks. Like, I don't want to get my boobs smushed between these metal plates. Like, that sounds awful. So this just sounds, one, like you said, it's less damaging, but two, the comfort factor.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the uncomfortable aspects of medical care can shy people away. Like, I don't like needles, so I don't want to go. Or I don't, there could be certain things that scare people away from even getting medical care.
Yes.
And maybe that's something mammograms do for some people. So I'm really glad that you shared your experience, because if anyone's worried about getting a mammogram, don't, and go get thermography instead.
Yes, because you have to, expose yourself in both. But let's try the one that doesn't squish your titty in between two plates.
And you're in a dark room with the thermography, so you don't even have to be flashing it in medical lights.
There you go. There you go. No fluorescent lights.
That's actually very interesting to me, because having implants, it doesn't make it impossible to get a mammogram, but it definitely makes it, I think, even more uncomfortable, because they have to take your natural tissue and pull it in front of your implant.
What?
And then if there's any
Ouch.
places that need extra imaging, I think they do like ultrasounds and things like that. I don't know what type of
That just
additional.
sounds
That would hurt
uncomfortable.
so bad.
Who are you telling? Like, before my implants, my chest looked like almost inverted. My only tissue was literally like an inch of nipple and boob together. So like imagining them putting that in there just sounds like torture.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh.
Sorry for making you guys cringe with that imagery. Just making you live in my own personal.
Also, on a side note, I had something interesting to share, and I was looking it up toward the end of our breast milk conversation. There was a guy, speaking of breast milk and its powers, right? It's known as mother's milk, liquid gold, because there are so many nutrients in breast milk. And there's this guy named Howard Cohen who had prostate cancer and actually started drinking donated breast milk after reading a study about it killing cancer cells. And he swore that it lowered his PSA numbers. He had the test done before and after, and then he had to stop drinking it at one point because I think the donation center he was getting the breast milk from was running low, and they have to prioritize the babies first, obviously. And his numbers went back up after he stopped.
Interesting. I never heard about this story.
Yeah, I think it was maybe in the Netflix docuseries Unwell, but it was so interesting because I think they were sharing multiple stories of people consuming breast milk for the health benefits. And I
have
thought they were
heard,
incredible.
maybe not that specific man, but I have heard about consuming breast milk to improve your health. So yeah, I guess breast milk doesn't just help tender nipples.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me share. But yeah, I thought it would be maybe cool to even like touch on that aspects because it's the best of boobs, right? And breast milk's
There
pretty
you go.
pretty incredible.
Seriously, breast milk is literally liquid gold. Next best liquid gold next to beef tallow.
Yes.
Another thing when it comes to breast health, I think about your lymphatic system because there's so many lymph nodes around your breasts. And so I think even just gentle self-massage through your whole body and dry brushing and even bouncing on a little trampoline, that's called rebounding. That all can help your lymph fluid move, and that supports your detoxification and getting rid of the waste that stays in your system. And on that note of letting the lymph flow, also wearing bras that let you breathe too. And even more than just your bras, but like that's especially for the lymph nodes that are around that area, but for your lymph nodes run through your entire body. Wearing super tight clothes can have an impact on your lymphatic system for that too. On with like lifestyle things as far as moving your body daily and eating well, of course, eating a balanced diet. Hopefully those sorts of things can help you keep your hormones balanced naturally, but if you ever feel like there's something wrong with your hormones, definitely get tested, get lab work done so there's not a guessing game and you can get to the bottom of what's going on and make a plan to go forward. In other lifestyle related things, paying attention to the products you're using. I know Lauren has talked a good bit before on here about, even down to the things that you're cleaning your floors with because your feet absorb so much, but just becoming aware of what type of deodorants you're using, avoiding plastics when possible, and skincare, things that your skin is absorbing. That's our biggest organ. Maybe investing in an app, whether that be free or paid, to quickly scan things that rate toxin levels, just so you can become more aware.
Like Yuka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, YUKA.
Yeah, that app is great.
Yes. I love that one.
I think I heard somewhere that if you wouldn't eat it, you shouldn't put it on your skin. And I was thinking of, all these perfumey lotions that would taste terrible.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It's so funny you say that because the Ohm Botanicals magnesium cream?
Yes.
I literally remember the guy at the stand, he was one of the creators of it. His selling point was that, Aileen.
That he could eat it?
He squirted it and licked it and ate it in front of us as a demo. He was like, you should be able to eat what you're putting on your skin. So,
oh my gosh.
And that's always an example I think of where it shocked me because I had never seen somebody promoting a product who was just like, squirt, lick, see, it's safe enough to eat. And I was like, whoa. And it works. That's pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
Even just getting enough rest, getting out in the sun, all of these are very generic, but in general, I think just doing the things that we already know how to do and not trying to overcomplicate it can really add up over time when it comes to your overall well-being. And if you're into it, also your emotional and energetic connection to your breasts and your heart space. So just practicing connecting to that area and bringing healing and feel-good energy right there. Doing heart-opening like yoga poses, just anything that makes you feel most connected to and loving and caring for your body and your boobies. I think getting in that mindset is definitely important.
Oh, for sure.
So those are some tips. Am I missing any tips or did anything come to y'all's mind besides what we talked about?
I think you covered it good, girly.
So now let's just jump into a rapid fire fact or myth when it comes to breast cancer, breast health, all of the good stuff. So fact or myth, breast cancer is the most common cancer in women worldwide. That's a fact. About 1 in 8 women in the
Wow.
U.S. will develop invasive breast cancer in their lifetime. As far as the worldwide numbers, I didn't look those up, but it did check out on a quick Google search.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure in general, sex-related cancers like, yeah, for some reason, I'm having a difficult time finding the term that I know is back in the files somewhere.
Okay.
But like, for example, breast cancer is the most common cancer in women, and prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men. And then right behind that, lung cancer is the most common among both. Second
wow.
most common.
Wow.
The fact that the most common cancers are related to somebody's sex piques my interest. I wonder why it has to do with our sex.
Interesting.
Just food for thought. Okay, fact or myth? Most breast lumps are malignant, aka cancerous.
I would say
Myth?
no.
Myth, yeah.
Because that's back when I was getting checked and I was worried about these lumps that were very movable. They're like, this is normal. This is so common. So, yeah.
Exactly what you were talking about, fibroids.
Yeah.
So like cyst, fibrocystic tissue, fibroids. So yeah, but any new lump should always be evaluated, but most of them are benign, non-cancerous, come and go with hormones. So yeah. All right. Fact or myth? Genetics are the only risk factor for breast cancer.
Myth.
Yeah, no, that can't be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Myth.
I mean, it can be contributing, obviously,
but
with
the
the BRCA
only-
stuff, but no.
It is one factor, but yes, it's a myth. Overall, your lifestyle, age, hormone exposure, and environment also play major roles. So they'll always tell you, make sure that you eat right and exercise and all the normal things you should for your health. But they'll also, if you have a family history of cancer, they'll also throw in there, avoid risky substances. Research shows that if you consume alcohol, smoke, do drugs, those type of things can increase your cancer risk. So just being aware of that. Fact or myth? Breast implants increase your risk of breast cancer.
I'm going to say myth.
Yeah.
Myth.
Okay.
With fine print. So
Oh.
standard implants do not increase breast cancer risk, but there is a rare type of lymphoma called BIA-ALCL, and it's associated with certain implants that are like textured. Most implants I see are typically smooth on the outside, like just, I don't know, they almost look like gummy bears, but
Right.
there are some that are textured. And that was something new I learned when I was looking at these facts or myths. I was like, what?
Interesting.
You also see people talking about breast implant illness and that sort of thing too. So like, although it's not cancer, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Fact or myth? Dense breast tissue increases the risk of breast cancer.
Dense breast tissue? Sure. I would think so.
Yeah, I'll go with fact as well.
Yes. Fact. Look at you. You guys are such smart cookies. Women with dense breasts do have a slightly higher risk and may need extra imaging to rule out breast cancers. I imagine that's because it's probably harder to feel through all the way through
Sure.
the breast tissue if you're doing just a general. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
guys think? I mean, and maybe even on a mammogram. Damn, their mammograms are probably hell.
Ooh.
Having to squish it down.
Ooh.
Yeah. And harder to see the actual lumps.
Right.
Problematic lumps. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fact or myth? Men cannot get breast cancer.
Lies.
Lies. Yes, that's a myth. Men can get breast cancer, although it's rare. Men should also check and be aware and look. They should feel and look for any abnormalities, tenderness, all of the same things for women, but it is a little bit more rare. So just be aware of that. That is a myth. All right. Final fact or myth. Wearing a bra 24/7 prevents sagging.
I wish.
I would say I think it's a myth.
Myth, for sure. I mean, there's so many different things. As Eileen already covered, like becoming a mom definitely changes your breast, but you've got age, gravity, genetics, lifestyle, all of those things. They're not to prevent the sagging, but they can give the effect of anti-gravity. But if you know real women who have not had breast work done, then you know what those old lady birthday cards are referring to, and they got the
Yeah.
saggy boob jokes.
Oh, I have it's a fact I remember from nursing school. Do you guys know where the most malignant lumps are found as far as within the breast tissue?
No.
Oh, is it the duct?
No, it's the tail of Spence, the area closest to the armpit, which makes me think
Oh,
women do need to be very careful with deodorant. Think about where that
yes.
location is. This upper corner here of breast
Mhm.
tissue is often known to have cancer lumps there.
So funny. I was going to be like, the armpit. And I was like, well, is that the breast? But you're right. I forgot about that part that goes up there.
Yeah.
And that's so true. Why, again, leading back to the be careful what you put on your body.
Yeah.
And that is okay. So that's a great educational point. I'm glad you brought that up because feeling all around the breast tissue is just part of it. When you're in the shower, okay, I know in everyday life, our armpits get sweaty, stinky. We don't always want to feel them. But at least in the shower, if you can, feel up in your armpits.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of lymph nodes all around there. And right where Eileen was saying, where your armpit crevice is kind of at there in the front.
Yeah.
And it's all making sense now. It's coming together. So I was an OR nurse in the operating room. And I remember actually, now that we're talking about it, we would take out the lymph nodes to test the lymph nodes to see for spreading and stuff. And one of the most common areas we would always take them out of was the armpit.
There you go.
And because I remember having to like prep, and clean the armpits the most. So now I'm like, oh, wait, now that we're talking about this is making sense why they would always take out those lymph nodes to test them.
Yeah. So think about all the deodorant with aluminum and other toxins.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You got to think about switching that up, guys.
Yeah. Me and Jason laugh because I was using this salt stick deodorant for like years. I mean, it lasted me years. I think it was like 2.5 or 3 years I had it, maybe even more.
Wow.
And I thought I was being a holistic baddie and like I found something that worked for me. And when he looked it up online to see, he was like, maybe we should buy another one because it was getting kind of old and I didn't want to share with him. And he was looking for a new deodorant. And when he looked it up online, it was pure aluminum salt. Like that was the...
No.
Oh,
My jaw was on the floor. I didn't believe him at first. I was like, you're not reading that right. Give me your phone. And I just looked at him in silence because I was wrong. I could not believe I was using something. So read the fine print, everybody.
Yes.
Scan it on Yuka.
Because they do make those crystal deodorant sticks and stuff.
Yes. I've heard mixed reviews with that one. Some people say it works. Some people are like, no, I smell like ass when I tried that. I don't know.
I've used it before, and I think they have like the hard stick that I think Hannah's talking about, and then a spray. And I felt like the hard stick worked better.
Interesting.
But what I did notice is, I don't know how you used yours, Hannah. When I used to use it, I would literally run the stick underwater and then apply it. And I noticed when I got the salt wet and then coated the underarm, it was a lot more effective.
Yeah, that's how I used it too. And it worked. I mean, it worked great when I used it, but now I found out it wasn't what I thought it was.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
But it did work great.
I've heard of people spraying like magnesium sprays under the arms, that working for them. I've heard of even hydrogen peroxide working for some people.
What is that? The cream that you use, Lauren, worked really well for me.
It's the one that I actually use the most now.
I remember you let me borrow some, and I was really pleasantly surprised by it because I think we were doing something that day I was at your house, and like I was sweating and I didn't stink like I normally do when I sweat without anything on. I did not stink at
Yes.
all.
What I
And, like-
found though with creams for me is that I do sweat more. Even the ones that work as far as don't have me smell, I still just feel very gross and damp. So does this one
Yeah.
dry you out or keep you dry or no?
Well, and the difference with that is it's the antiperspirants that
Mhm.
have all of the chemicals in them
I know.
are
it's
the only
unfortunate.
ones that do that.
Yeah.
But I will say the brand that I use is called Little Seed Farm.
Little Seed Farm.
Little
Okay.
Seed Farm all natural deodorant cream. It's on Amazon. It's about $16 per jar. And they have a bunch of different scents, but they do have an activated charcoal one. So I don't know if
Oh,
that would potentially be better.
that
But
could.
some people also prefer baking soda as an ingredient if they're very sweaty. But I have very sensitive skin. And I've tried natural deodorants with baking soda before, and that just didn't. It irritated my skin.
Okay.
Yeah, I could
but
see
yeah,
that.
like Hannah said, so I'm a stinky bitch, all right? Like it takes quite the deodorant to keep me smell fresh. And as far as natural ones, this has been the one I've stuck with now for years. And now
Okay.
I'll switch up the scents. My favorite is rosemary and patchouli.
Okay.
And I also really love the blue lotus. But there
I am willing to try. Yeah, I'll have to test it out. Charcoal does sound like if they incorporate that, that sounds like that could be more up my alley. Because I tried Lumi and I just felt wet under my arms. I didn't smell, but I just felt very gross.
like
And so-
extra wet.
Yes, like I would sweat more with Lumi, unfortunately.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who better to talk about boobies with than your besties?
Yes.
And yeah, we're always looking out for each other. So we're looking out for you guys too. We want you to stay ahead of your health and know all of the things. So I hope that you found this episode fun and educational, and happy Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Until next time, besties, keep growing, keep glowing, and always, always, always trust in your own bestie perspective.